Good evening. Hey, what's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals and Concierge Bullion Services in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. You've got the live John Pennekamp camera up. Now, this is not local in Lauderdale by the Sea, but it's about, 3.5 hours south of Broward County or thereabouts. Beautiful cam, though. I usually put a live fish cam up. If you're new to my videos, I always start out with the one of the local, well, not local, but one of the South Florida cams, and once in a while the manatee cam as well. Well, let's move straight into it, folks, because I'm hungry. It's the evening report, and I've had a long day. On vacation next week. I'm hoping to get the reports done daily, but they'll be really quick and short. Meanwhile, it's kind of quiet out there anyway. Oh, take a look at that. Just, wow, what a beautiful camera that is. Again, John Pennekamp Coral Cam. It is a live cam, which is pretty damn cool. Hard to find a lot of live underwater cams out there, especially as beautiful as this. And let's take a look at the quote of the day, which is, folks, I remember when I saw this on George Carlin's special. It was probably Showtime. Showtime used to do a lot of great comedy specials. I don't know if they do anymore. And comedy to me has changed so dramatically the way it was back then. I grew up in the days of George Carlin and a lot of other great comedians from that time. Well, let's get into the quote right here. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them at all. That's against their interests. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. And for some reason, I couldn't say it nearly as well as George Carlin did in that special. If you ever get a chance, just Google George Carlin and that quote right there. They don't want well-informed, educated people, because it's probably one of the most truest comments to ever come out of any comedian's mouth ever. It's a big club, and you ain't in it, and that's one thing George Carlin was good at. It was throwing the truth in our faces, and I respect that. I like people that, despite the fact that sometimes we don't want to hear it, tell us the truth. Let's take a look at the markets here, and the market is closed right now, but take a look at that. 1759.46, 1928, 886.39. The markets are up in the criminal Crimex markets. It looks like we saw the. I'll take a look at the 24-hour charts here very shortly. But meanwhile, it's still a great opportunity to buy at these levels. Don't hesitate to buy. You're probably saying to yourself, "Oh man, I should have got gold when it was in the lower 1700. I should have bought silver when it was below 19. I should have bought." No, prices were just excessively cheap in the last month or so. I mean, the prices of gold and silver have been excessively cheap for quite some time, folks, and not because of real supply and demand factors, not because of lack of retail buying, not because of lack of manufacturers' industrial use of silver, not because that silver miners have just been producing way too much silver, none of that at all. The only reason the price of silver is down, and gold as well, and platinum, is because of manipulated markets in the COMEX markets, the LBMA markets, and other markets elsewhere. The overnight Globex markets, which is run by CME Group. And we know this. We talk about this all the time. I'm so sick of just bringing it up. It's like, oh, God. But for you folks that have been following me for some time and you've been listening to my videos, and for you folks that listen to them every so often, it really is the same old shit. It's the same old thing that I keep saying, is the only reason these markets are as cheap as they are is because of criminal collusive behavior in the COMEX markets, in the Globex markets, the LBMA markets. And the facts prove this out. The data, the math, everything proves out the fact that these markets are heavily manipulated in commodities markets. And again, like the LBMA and the CME Group's COMEX and Globex markets, are heavily manipulated. But you know what? Of course the game is rigged. We say this so often on these videos. The game is rigged. Of course it is. But if you don't play, and you can't win. And of course, understanding how a game is rigged, you have a distinct advantage over all the other players, including the rigger themselves, because you can snooker them into screwing up. Again, if you're sitting at a table and you know that another player is cheating, and you know how they're cheating, And if you're smart enough, you can figure out how to beat them at their own game. And how to beat them at their own game is just keep taking that physical off the markets, keep pulling more and more silver physical off these markets, making less of the real stuff available to them, and sticking their paper bullshit up their asses, their derivatives, whatever you want to call it. Maybe their naked short positions in COMEX on these silver contracts, all that stuff. Keep taking the silver off the shelf, and that's one way to win in this market as well, because silver and gold has been around for 5,000 years. You're not going to go bankrupt, and it's not going to go bankrupt probably ever, chances are, and it's not going to become worthless probably ever. It's, again, 5,000 year track record. How much better can you get than that? There's no currency, there's no treasury note, there's no bond, there's no corporation, there's no empire, whatever, that's ever outlived the gold and silver as far as its longevity goes. So you're in a safe place right there as long as you own the real stuff. All right, I'm going to get out of that. Markets are kind of sideways. Platinum looks like it's up a little bit right now, but platinum, as I said last night, unloved. Probably the most unloved metal out there out of the four here. Well, I can't say that. Well, retail-wise, and retail sales, very little retail sales is involved with palladium. Very few people understand it and buy it on a physical level as far as retail buyers. But platinum and silver and gold, kind of a lot more retail buyers out there. But except for platinum. Platinum has just been completely unloved for quite some time. That tells me that platinum is sitting at its bottom, has been at its bottom for quite some time. We've seen it low as in the last, couple years, 2 or 3 years, 750. And when is the best time to buy a solid asset that's been around for, thousands of years? The best time to buy it is when it's really low and nobody loves it. And I believe that's what we got with platinum right now. Silver, again, it's a gift, folks. When they when they manipulate these markets downward so much like this, it's a gift, especially if you're buying physical. The only problem is the premiums when you're buying physical are getting stiff and stiffer, and I got to tell you here shortly that the premiums are up substantially on all the generic products. The premiums on the sovereign products are just ridiculous. So there is a shortage of silver out there. I probably have not looked. Maybe we'll take a look if I remember to of what 1,000-ounce bar premiums are right now, because I would bet you anything 1,000-ounce bar premiums are up substantially as well versus where they've been in the past. So that would indicate to me that we've got some serious silver demand out there when you see 1,000-ounce bar prices up, and I bet we probably will. Let's take a look at. I'll take a look at SD Bullion because I'm going to give them a little love during this video right here. As you know, here's my little plug for myself. Commercial rare coins and precious metals and concierge bullion services advertised to beat APMEX, JM, and SD Bullion. They're the big 800-pound respectable gorillas out there. And again, when I say respectable, there's nothing wrong with these companies. They do a great job. They're on very large scale and they're very competitive. But there's a big but. I can beat their prices, and there's my plug for the night. I'll get into that a little bit later. No less. Where was I going with that as far as prices goes? I don't know. I'll get there. Let's take a look at 24-hour charts here. 24-hour charts for gold looks like prices in gold got monkey hammered during the New York NYMEX, TRIMEX markets here, downward, but kind of sideways, and not by much. We saw a high of 1765 there, about 1766 or something like that. Let's take a look here. I forgot to look. 1766 was our high there in gold, and then it backed off there and kind of sitting in that mid-range level. Tomorrow all bets are off, but you know what? Based on that, we haven't seen. Even right now, I'm not seeing the price of gold and silver down substantially right now, which tells me that perhaps we won't get monkey hammered down sub 1750 level and sub 19 level in silver tomorrow, based on the Fed gobbledygook that's coming out. And again, remember, typically gold and silver markets, and silver in particular, but gold also, are monkey hammered in the CRIMEX, NYMEX, LBMA markets when the Fed starts talking their gobbledygook, whatever the hell you want to call it, when they start jawboning. When the Fed starts jawboning, markets get hammered before, during, or shortly after. So I'm kind of waiting to see what happens tomorrow to see if gold and silver gets monkey hammered tomorrow. And of course, platinum, I don't think is going to see a much lower bids than where we got it right now. Unloved, unloved, unloved. Great time to buy, I think, platinum especially. But that's just my opinion. As far as silver, same thing, folks. If you take a look at the 24-hour charts, silver gets monkey hammered about the same time as gold did in the New York Crimex markets, and then kind of steadied out right here. Let's see if the big commercial spoofers and big commercial shorters in the Crimex markets and the NYMEX markets knock the price of gold and silver down tonight after now. But it looks like they haven't so far, or in the morning. But again, there's another repetitive thing that I say. But again, tomorrow it's very possible that you could see them knock monkey hammer and gold and silver markets during the announcement or after the announcements. If the Fed comes out and says they're going to raise rates, that's typically a great time for markets to get monkey hammered in gold and silver under the false narrative that the Fed's higher rates is going to make a significant difference in real rates, which real rates based on government data is bullshit. So based on that narrative, they could knock prices of gold and silver tomorrow. But it doesn't look like so far. It doesn't look like it so far based on what we're looking at right here. So if they do knock it tomorrow, as I said, buy the dips. If you're already bought in, just go fishing, go do something cool, go ride your motorcycle or whatever it is that you love to do, and relax. Gold and silver is not going bankrupt. It's not going to zero. It's not going down substantially lower. And if it does, it's only the paper markets. You won't be able to buy the real stuff at those prices. I saw this interesting article on ZH, and this just made me laugh right here. Source Bloomberg, you know how much I love corporate media, but this hawkish message was confirmed by the pause man himself, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic, who warned in the Wall Street Journal that I think it's going to be really important that we resist the temptation to be too reactionary and really make sure that we get inflation well on its way to, here's the funny part, 2% before we take it. 2%? Really? 2%? The Fed really believes that they're going to knock inflation down to 2%. Well, they can probably do it on paper, the bullshit paper that we have to look at all the time, the manipulated paper, the manipulated data. But there is no way in this real world, in the realistic world, in hell, that they're ever going to get inflation down to 2% anytime soon. So that comment just made me laugh my ass off. Ironically, this hawkishness, and again, remember what the Fed does. The Fed is involved with the sinking ship. What is the sinking ship? The sinking ship is this right here, folks. The fact that the U.S. dollar, since its inception, the fiat dollar has done nothing but decline. Very few times, except when FDR stole all the gold. There it is right there. FDR stole all the gold until after that chart ever goes up. The only time that you can be confident that your dollar is okay and that your country is okay and everything's okay is if you see this line go up, but it ain't happening, folks. You ain't part of that big club. You're a part of, we aren't, we ain't happening. So, all right, I can go on that line and digress a little bit, and where were we from there? But that made me laugh. And in this article it says, in U.S., farcical student relief. The student relief is nothing but fucking vote buying by the scumbags in D.C., particularly the current scumbag in power right now. And IRS post facto waiving of COVID late fees announcements yesterday. This is nothing but vote buying, a student loan relief. You know what? If you if you allow a student loan relief, what about all those people for decades and decades that have paid their student loans on time or not on time and lost their credit? Now all of a sudden, this particular administration, I don't care whether they're red or blue, they use this shit to buy votes. It's pure and simple vote buying. It's farcical, just like it says here. It pisses me off, probably pisses you off. Let me move along here. Calm down. I'm going to take a sip of, actually I do have a wine tonight here, and I'm going to take a sip of that real quick. Soothe my throat. It is the evening report. By the way, heads or tails. Ready? Flip the coin on my hand. It is a heads, a bull for tomorrow's market. Let's see what happens. Man, with the Fed speak tomorrow, I wouldn't bet on that coin, but you know, it's been right so far. Last week it seems pretty good. Chinese fiscal stimulus adds another 1 trillion yuan, $146 billion US dollars. Now, why that may seem a lot, it ain't shit, folks. China, talk about major populations, has how many, China has what, how many billion people? 1 point something billion or whatever. In fact, let's just take a look for shits and giggles here. Here, actually, I can go here. Population of China.
Here's an answer from Wikipedia. China is the largest country by population in the world, having some 1.4 billion people.
Woohoo! 1.4 billion people. So come on, that's just freaking that's just like farcical, just like the student loan relief is to buying votes. Chinese fiscal stimulus adds 1 trillion yuan, $146 billion to a population of 1.4 billion. Oh my God! What is the United States? 300 million. That's what our population is, or something like that. 330 million. So, folks, that's just. I don't even know what you would call that. That's just like icing to make everything feel better. Icing on the cake, on a shitty cake. Icing on a shitty cake. How's that? European fiscal stimulus, energy subsidies. Europe's fucked. Europe's fucked. And I started to have some revelations about this war in Ukraine and what's going on there, and the war of the U.S. dollar versus the other turds, which are the euro, pesos, regardless of where the pesos are from, won, all these fiat turds, all right? I got a sneaking suspicion that, this is an economic war with the United States. We're in an economic war. We're not in a direct shooting war yet. I hope we don't get to that point. But this is an economic war right now to make the U.S. dollar the top turd, as far as fiat currencies go. And and that includes Europe. That includes what's going on with Ukraine right now. We goaded. In fact, the United States created this war in Ukraine back in, what was it, 2014, when we did a basic regime change there, created a civil war in that country. And today, and a lot of energy travels through there, and a lot of relationships between Russia and Germany and other countries in the EU was based on oil, cheap oil. Europe enjoyed cheap oil from Russia. That's what made them wealthy. Just like cheap labor in the United States and cheap oil made the United States wealthy. Except this war that we instigated in Ukraine, in Europe's backyard, has basically screwed Europe. It really has. And maybe this is an economic war not just against China, not just against Russia and other countries, but maybe this is an economic war that the United States is secretly waging against Europe as well. Why else would we instigate a war that caused Europe energy prices to double, triple, and maybe create very big potential of a default over in Europe? That's just my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Meanwhile, it is an economic war for sure. We better hope it doesn't turn into a shooting war. European fiscal stimulus, energy subsidies, kind of explains what I kind of feel the same way. It is not a nothing burger, folks. Big shit's going on out there. And meanwhile, I am no economic or political expert, but of course I always share my opinion here. Let's get into what Mr. Kuzmar does best. Got my sheet of prices here, kind of spread sheet of prices here, and I'm going to take another sip of this right here. One sec. God, I've been just talking and working all day. My throat is dry, and that feels better. Let's talk about what the best deals out there. All right. And again, I'm going to give SD Bullion some love, even though I advertise that I will beat SD, JM Bullion, and AppMax Bullion, and Miles Franklin out there, who's a big daddy out there as far as large deals. I'll beat his prices on any people that are looking to buy large deals as well. And let's talk about prices here. Give me 1 second here. Best deals. All right, there we go. In stock silver. Folks, now listen, when I say that there's a silver shortage out there, I don't mean there's a silver shortage as far as what is above ground. It's what is available for sale. When I talk about silver shortages, I talk about available silver for sale, which is a lot different than stuff that's not for sale, stuff that's in garbage, landfills and stuff that we haven't mined yet. All right. Silver for sale. There's not a lot out there retailable silver for sale because the premiums are just going up, even on the generic products that I've been advising you guys to buy for a long time. Let's take a look at in-stock silver. All right, what's out there available silver products? Obviously, stay away from Silver Eagles for sure, but SD Bullion does have the best price. I look at JM. I'm surprised JM doesn't have a better price than SD on generic products because JM Bullion is involved with. I think they own part of Silvertown. They own part of who's the other one? Sunshine Mint. So they directly do own partnership with some of these producers of generic silver. Yet SD Bullion still got to give them some love here. Can beat their prices, and I can beat SD's prices. There's my little plug too. Nothing wrong with these companies, like I said, but just to use them as an example. And if you don't live in South Florida, by the way, and you can't visit my store here at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals, we're open 10 to 4, and you're not buying more than 2,500 ounces of silver, I still recommend you find a good local dealer. If you're buying more than 2,500 ounces of silver and more than 100 ounces of gold, and you don't live in South Florida and you can't visit our Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals brick and mortar store, you can order from us now through Concierge Bullion Services, and we do orders on phone now with wires. I'll get into that a little bit here as well. But meanwhile, what's out there as far as 10-ounce silver bars? Man, the premiums are high on this stuff. Top seller. Again, SD Bullion has some product out there, but look. Let me turn the calculator on here. And they say as low as, but remember that's for 50 plus bars. Let's use 1 to 4 bars, okay? And again, you can go on here and do the math yourself, but I'm going to use 1 to 4 bars because a vast majority of working people out there I deal with, that's the range of what they buy. 23.4 per ounce on a 10-ounce bar. What are they showing for silver price? And by the way, they always put their silver prices higher, as does Atmex, as does JM. I don't know why they do that. I think they hedge themselves a little bit. But there is about the silver price we'll be using here in our store, 1928. And as you can see, again, really surprising. 1928. Look at that. That's over 20 cents difference. And again, JM Bullion and Atmex do the same thing. I think they pump up their prices a little bit, folks, as far as spot prices. I can't give a good reason why. But let's just check their premium based on what spot price they're using. What their spot price they're using. Excuse me, there. I almost had to yawn. Boy, I'm tired. So, 23.49 per ounce is what that 10-ounce bar is for 1 to 4, and 19.50 is their spot price. That's $3.99. That's $3.99 over, folks, for 1 to 4 bars. This tells me that 10-ounce bars are getting really slim pickings out there. SD Bullion's price is even high. I can beat that price, by the way. If you live here in South Florida, I'll definitely beat that price if you come to Commercial Rare Coins. And if you're buying more than 2,500 ounces of silver, I can beat that price as well. As far as, let's take a look at silver rounds. That's what I want to go to next, generic rounds. 1-ounce rounds. What is the cheapest product they got out there? SD has their own product here. By the way, when you see SD and all these other companies have these super cheap, I mean almost too good to be true prices on precious metals, it is real and you're getting real product, but what you're doing is you're giving away your phone number and your address and all that information, because it's what we call in the industry a lost leader. You know, to get a good precious metal buyer's phone number and address, you got to pay $5, $10, $20 to get it nowadays. SD Bullion, JM Bullion, Atmex Bullion, they run these super cheap specials where they're $1 or $2 under wholesale, like this particular thing right here, in order to get your address. But I believe I can still beat that, and I won't take your address and name as well. So let's see where they're at on those. Their own special 1-ounce products. $23.89 per unit for less than 20. $19.50. Man, that's $4.39, folks. I will beat that price as well on SD Bullion's 1 ounce products. And again, nothing wrong with SD, Apmex, or JM. SD is the cheapest right now on silver products. But if you live in South Florida, you don't need to order from them because you can come see me. And if you're buying more than 2,500 ounces of silver, you don't need to go to SD Bullion because I'll beat their prices as well. Again, great company, and I'm giving them some love just by showing them on my channel here. And if you don't live near a good coin shop and you're not ordering more than 2,500 ounces of silver, SD's got them the cheapest out there, folks. I wish I could tell you, folks that are buying less than 2,500 ounces of silver otherwise if you don't have a good local shop. But here you go. And what else have we got going on out here? Gold products. Let me tell you what the best deal is in gold products. Gave it to you in well, hold on, I didn't tell you. I just told you what their prices are. You know, one thing I want to look at here is 1,000 ounce bars. Hang on a second. 1,000 ounce silver. Let's see, 1,000 ounce silver. Sorry, I didn't mean to give you some silence there. Let's see if SD has. They usually have 1,000 ounce silver bars for sale. And I don't see them here. Let's see, 1,000 ounce. No, I don't see. Maybe I'm just not doing a right search. There's a 100 ounce silver bar. That's really odd. I believe that they usually have. Here, let me check one other place here. Category, grade, service, mint mark, silver. Because I told you earlier I was going to check on 1,000. If 1,000 ounce bar premiums are up, you can pretty much tell that there's a physical retail shortage out there in for silver. And silver bars, let's hit that right there. Forgive me, I'm probably, there you go, 1,000 ounce silver bars. And let's see where SD Bullion is at on 1,000 ounce silver bars. They have typically been under $1.30 over. I would suspect that the prices are up. 21,710. Oh wow. 21,710 for that bar. Divided by 1,041 because that's the weight of that bar. They're not exactly 1,000. Equals 20.85 per ounce on a 1,000 ounce bar, and they're using 1945. Yeah, I would say that 1,000 ounce bar premiums are up a little bit here, folks, at least by 10 or 15 cents an ounce. Maybe even higher because I don't sell a lot of these, but that's a good indication that there is a shortage out there of retailable, reasonably priced retail products. As far as the price of gold, what the best deals are in gold, not so much of a problem. Premiums aren't too bad on gold. It seems like where the big disconnect is right now. Low silver prices like we have at these levels would indicate that silver is available, very cheap. There's lots of it out there, but that's anything but the truth. Gold's a little bit different. There is gold out there available. Premiums for buffaloes and gold eagles are around $1.50 or so in small quantities. Gold bars are still the best deal at spot plus 74 bucks or so. And again, as I said, my plug for myself and my business here is at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. If you're buying gold, and come and see us. If you live in South Florida, we're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays. You can buy the smallest amount from 1 gram to hundreds of ounces. If you don't live in South Florida, call Concierge Bullion Services. If you're going to buy more than 100 ounces of gold, we can work with you on the phone, and we do wires as well. I'm going to get into yesterday's video, which was interesting, I thought. Be smarter. That was smart. Be smarter. Let me take another sip here. It's going to make me smarter. 1 second. Be smarter or get eaten. I thought I made a good little title there based on the opening of the show. Take a look. Let me know what you think. Let's get into sort by newest comments. Let me kind of breeze over some of the comments from yesterday. Close your eyes if you get seasick. There's not too many comments today. What's up, Joey? Igor, sorry, man. Fans over 18 years, of course. What the heck is everyone investing in? All right, let me just get into some questions that are asking for me. Thank you for watching, all you folks. Let's see if anybody's asking me something specific now. Why is Walmart selling silver now? I think Walmart sells everything online, quite frankly. They have these partners like Amazon that do it, I think, if I'm correct. What's up, Wharton? I like to see your comments out there. I appreciate them as well. Big square juice bottles. All right. Temporary. The elites are pulling their gold out of seeming to you not know what it would be repercussions for such acts. Interesting stuff out there. Not too much in the comment section tonight, last night. And by the way, I thought the content was great on last night's video. Maybe the title wasn't too good, or maybe everything's slow, but no less. A smaller amount of views than I expected too. You know what's funny about YouTube is some of the best shows I've done get the smallest reviews, because really it seems like you're at the mercy of the algos, and you're at the mercy of a clickbaitish title to some degree, or titles that interest people. And again, some of my best videos, I thought last night was a good video, are really not always the highest viewed. It doesn't make sense to me as a YouTube creator. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and again, appreciate all you folks out there. I think I'm going to call it quits. This is Brian Kuzma with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. Think for yourself, question authority, and most of all, before you can do that, question what you believe to be the truth. Question yourself, and then you become really brilliant at questioning others and questioning authority as well. All right, folks, that's it. This is Brian Kuzma with Concierge Bullion Services. If you're buying more than 100 ounces of gold, more than 2,500 ounces of silver, and you don't live in South Florida, we do phone deals. We can do a deal with you on the phone and doing wires and that kind of cool stuff. Give us a call anytime. I will beat APMEX, JM, SD Bullion, and Miles Franklin out there, who's one of the big boys apparently, on their prices, regardless of the size of the deal. And if you live in South Florida, come by and see us at Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're open 10 to 4 Mondays through Fridays, and we'll beat all the locals. And again, as I said, including APMEX, SD, and JM Bullion. Thank you for putting up my sales pitch here, but this is part of the reasons that I'm able to do these videos and enjoy it, because it helps create more wealth for my business, and creating more wealth for my business is it's good for me. I'm just being straight up with you. Hey, and also, thanks to all the Reddit people out there in the Wall Street Silver. You folks are great. Love the vibe that you have out there, and keep buying, folks. You stackers, keep doing what you're doing. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a great evening, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.